Welcome to the Church Solutions Podcast, brought to you by JSL Solutions. The Church Solutions Podcast is designed to help equip you and your church in the use of technology and other tools and services. And now, here are your hosts, Steve Lacy and Phil Thompson.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, my name is Steve Lacy.
And I'm Phil Thompson, and this, of course, is the Church Solutions Podcast, as the announcer told you. And we're a company called JSL Solutions.
We are.
That's right.
And we provide tools for ministry.
Provide tools for ministry, such as, Steve?
StreamingChurch.tv, Church App Live, myflock.com, and Greeter.church.
All right. People can look those up on the web and find out. So we not only are we a tech company that helps churches, but Steve and I have a lot of ministry experience, and we like to lend that to people. We like to share that and help out anybody we certainly can, and that's part of what this podcast is all about. And many times we interview people, but lately people are running the other direction. I guess I'm just too tough on them. No, we've got some people lined up. They just couldn't make it. So we've got some future guests coming on. But today we're going to talk about Pastor Appreciation Month.
Yes.
Because it's October.
Yes. And you are a former senior pastor, former executive pastor, former online pastor, former all kinds of pastor.
Yeah,
huh?
I've been fired from lots of jobs. Actually, I've never been fired from any ministerial stuff. But, I was a senior pastor for about almost 8 years, helped start a church. And technically speaking, I'm part-time as an executive pastor for a little church. And so I still have my hands involved in it.
Yes.
And there's a stat that says 1,500 pastors leave their assignments every month in the United States, either because of conflict, burnout, or moral failure. This is a stat from Peacemaker Ministries. And so there's quite a bit of...
that is quite a bit.
Yeah.
1,500 pastors.
1,500 pastors leave their assignments every month.
Wow.
So that's... you know what? And it's a tough deal. I mean, my heart goes out to pastors being in it and being around them for close to 40 years now. It's certainly, it's not an easy job. It's, it's not just, you work on Sunday and the rest of the time you play golf. Mm-hmm. That is not the case. Although there are a lot of guys out there that do play. You just started taking up golf again, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
How's that going for you?
It's going all right. Yeah, I played a lot for a very long time and then took the past, a dozen years off.
Yeah. Now you're back.
Yeah, kind of. My oldest son is playing, so he's inviting me, and so I was a little hesitant at first, but now I'm enjoying it.
That's good father and son time.
Yes.
I'm not going to get back on the golf course anytime soon. All right. So, this podcast is directed to people involved in church work ministry, so I don't have to tell you that pastoral ministry can be very tough. It can be very difficult. It can be emotionally draining. And a lot of times pastors hear quite a bit of criticism. They get a large amount of criticism.
Yeah.
It's easy to criticize people when they're standing up there talking all the time or leading different areas. And many times they don't, in my opinion, get the appreciation that they should get. So
October is Appreciation Month.
Right.
We're going to fix that.
That's right.
So we have some tips,
Yeah.
some great ways to show a little gratitude.
We've got 8 great ways to send a little bit of gratitude their way. But first, before we get into that, let's give you a few ideas not to do or not to be involved.
We have the top 6 things not to do.
Are there 6 here? Wow,
I think so.
With 6 of these. Here are 6 things not to get your pastor for Pastor Appreciation Month. All right.
And number 1 is the praying hands statue.
The praying hands statue. And I think we've all seen this, right? There's these little deals. Some of them are large, some of them are small, but there's these 2 hands praying. And you know what? That's just, please don't do that.
Why not?
I think I got one of these one time. I think that's my problem.
As a pastor?
I think I did. I don't need a set of praying hands.
You don't like those?
I just don't care for them. I mean, I think I used them as a paper weight or something at one point and finally threw it away or something. But that's kind of a little bit of a joke there. But there are people that do that. And if you're one of the ones that give those away, sorry if I offended you.
All right. So number 2, things
Leadership.
not to give your pastor.
Not to give. Number 2 thing I would not give a pastor, and that is a leadership church book that you want him or her to read. Look, this is Pastor Appreciation Month, all right? There's lots of leadership books out there, and they're good and they're important. But when you hand your pastor this book, what you're saying is, I think you really need to read this book.
You need to apply some things in here to your life to make our church better, huh? So it's not really an appreciation.
I don't think it is. I mean, I think that there may be a time and a place to give somebody a book like that, but probably not during Pastor Appreciation Month. Come on.
Like getting your wife a blender for your anniversary or something?
I did that one time. All right. So, it's in poor taste. All right, let's move on.
All right. Number 3 is a tie.
A necktie. Look, I know this sounds cruel, but, when he or she, well, in this case, probably a he, opens the box, I've had people give me things. I don't know if I've ever had anybody give me a tie, but, something to wear. And I think to myself, how many times am I going to have to wear this thing so that people get the impression I'm grateful for whatever it was they gave me? All right. And I think this is true, especially true if the tie has a Christian fish on it. Come on. Or maybe it's decorated with a Christmas tree. I don't know. All right. These are a little tongue-in-cheek, but there's a lot of truth to them. All right, let's move on here. Things not to get.
So things not to get. Number 4, a Bible.
Bible. Look, they already have a Bible. Okay? If not, then, maybe they need to be pastoring another church, and that's another issue. But they don't need another Bible. Trust me on that, especially now online.
Yes.
I mean, gosh, you get so many different translations online now. You don't need multiple Bibles anymore.
All right, number 5, the 5th thing not to get your pastor for.
I think this is a pet peeve of mine again, and that is giving somebody a pair of tickets to a scrub, just a low-end matchup baseball game, I don't know, football game that just, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you want to get me tickets to the Diamondbacks, which could qualify as a scrub team right now, or, maybe the Arizona Cardinals, they're not doing very well this year. But, if you want to get me tickets to a, NFL game, awesome. If you want to get me tickets to see some, single A minor league ball club that nobody's heard of and nobody cares, that's not the best gift to give somebody. Look, for pastor appreciation. All I'm saying is, if you're going to give them something like that, make it something that's decent.
Yeah, it's not a first fruits gift kind of thing.
Well, here you go. That's a nice way to put it. I mean, these are my issues here. These are probably my personal
These are things
issues.
you've received, huh?
Yeah, probably have. Yeah. Here's a good one. Number 6, and then we'll move on to the ones that we think are really important.
So number 6 is a card with nothing in it.
A card with nothing in it. Look, at least throw in a Starbucks gift card if you're going to do that. All right. I mean, come on. It's just, all right.
All right. So those are the things to avoid. Pastor Appreciation.
There's lots of them. I'd love to hear some other ideas on this. It's Pastor Appreciation Month. So send your cards and letters in your emails to support at StreamingChurch.tv. I'd love to hear what you think about what you should not get, your pastor. But here are some things you should do or should get for your pastor.
All right. So number 1 is take them to lunch.
Take them out to lunch. And I'm talking a sincere lunch, a time where maybe you don't talk about church stuff so much, not about ministry stuff, but just stop by and take them out somewhere, maybe their favorite restaurant or something for lunch. Take a little time out to just enjoy each other's company a little bit and, go that direction. A lunch is a nice thing to do.
Yeah, I know it'd be
for appreciation, not for business purposes or, we need to talk about this elder. We've got a problem with it as deacon, No, don't do anything like that.
All right. That makes sense. I know it'd be top of my list.
Yeah.
So number 2.
A handwritten note. Now, look, I know this sounds a little cheesy, but honestly, I've got a few handwritten notes over the years, and I still have them. And it's kind of a nice personal touch. A handwritten note. Somebody actually took the time to write down, an expression of gratitude. And it can really make you feel valued if you're a pastor. Can brighten your week up a little bit. As we said earlier, it's easy to get caught up with criticism and all that. But when you get something that's a nice little note, handwritten,
with something inside, with a Starbucks and card inside.
Well, that's always nice. But I realize that there's some people out there that they don't have a lot of money. But something like this would be very nice, and it's not. It shows you a little bit of gratitude. If you're going to give somebody just a generic card, then yeah, you ought to throw something in there. But a nice handwritten note, that's a different deal.
All right, well, sounds good. So next on our list,
give verbal encouragement. Again, I just being involved in pastoral ministry myself and being working around pastors, verbal encouragement is something that you cannot give enough to people. It's just, that goes for everybody in life, but especially, during Pastor Appreciation Month, make it sincere, but really, it's just, especially if you go out of your way to do it. Yeah. That would be good. You know what I mean? And just share a little verbal encouragement and something where it's sincere. Hopefully everything you do is sincere, but where you maybe spend just a moment or two away from the crowds, the masses, and just tell them something from your heart.
Yeah, we've got an elder at our church that as well, that is very well known for the phrase, "You're doing a fine job."
Yep.
So
yeah, he does. And I believe he's sincere. He does it a lot, where I think it's lost its effect.
It has, but initially he was always very. He'd find you. You're ushering. You're doing whatever whatever you're doing. You're cleaning up after the big thing, and he's like, he'd always come over and say, "Phil, you're doing a fine job."
Yeah, Mac's a good guy, and I love him very much. His family. Very good to me and my family when I was there at your church, and obviously verbal encouragement. So
that's a gifting of his.
He does. He has a gift of encouragement. Needs to mix it up a little bit, but yeah. Well, you know what I'm saying. It's like you say something a little different or something. I don't know. Right. He's probably going to listen to this and get discouraged. Sorry, Mac. All right, let's move on here.
So number 4, an interesting idea for Pastor Appreciation Month is provide a date night.
A date night, and when we say date night here, we're talking about, it depends on your pastor and how young or how old they are. If you've got, if you've got a pastor that's, fairly young, it's got some, especially some younger kids, setting up something where they can go out and spend some quality time together. I'm talking about, the husband and wife getting together, and maybe have somebody watch the kids.
Right.
And maybe if you've really got some resources, maybe
throw in a gift card for a local restaurant, that sort of thing.
Yeah, we've done things where we actually provided, a little getaway to a decent hotel.
Oh yeah.
For the weekend or something, or at least the Saturday or Friday night or something like that. Providing a date night, it's just the little things make a big difference. And I can just tell you from my own personal experience about being a senior pastor for almost 8 years, quality time with your spouse, it's something you have to work at, because there's always people wanting your attention. There's all sorts of schedules and church stuff going on. So anytime you can get away and spend some quality time with your wife, that's an important deal. And we used to get away. We were pastoring in a small town in Kansas, Junction City, Kansas, and we would drive about 2 hours to Kansas City, and we would do that quite a bit and spend some quality time. So a date night, and however you want to do it, however.
Either offer to babysit, give them a coupon for free babysitting, or give them dinner and a movie card or whatever.
Creative with that, and do whatever you can there. But it really, again, provides some great opportunities there to show appreciation.
All right, so we're working on our 8 tips for ideas for Pastor Appreciation Month.
Yeah.
And number 5 is volunteer your time.
So there's all sorts of things, that are bouncing around in a pastor's mind depending on the size of the church and all the different responsibilities. But if you are able to take something off your pastor's plate, if you were able to volunteer and help your pastor, maybe with a specific project or whatever it might be.
Do some visitation for somebody.
Yeah. If you don't have teams to do that, and here's something also that's when it talks about volunteering your time here. It might be something at the pastor's house. Maybe you've got some handyman experience, and they need a little bit of work done on a door or a screen door, or put up a ceiling fan, or something that you could maybe do for him and his family, either at their house, or it doesn't have to be always ministry related. It could be something personal, work on their car.
Right.
I know a lot of pastors that are, their cars need some TLC. And if you've got that ability to change the oil in it, or, do some things that can help, that would make a big difference.
Yeah. All right. So, volunteer your time was number 5. Number 6 on our list is grab them coffee and bagels.
Yeah, it's a little different from maybe taking them out to lunch, in the sense that, maybe you can just provide some coffee to go and some donuts or bagels or something, and get it to go and drop it off, either in the office or, again, maybe they're home or something, I don't know. Just something that would, again, show a little bit of gratitude. Doesn't cost a lot of money. But just the thought of, hey, we know you love coffee. Here's some coffee. Here's some bagels. Here's some donuts. Here's whatever.
Right.
Could make a big difference.
All right. So, in number 7 on our list, facilitate a special feature in service. And what are we talking about here?
Well, so I'm thinking that it's Pastor Appreciation Month. If there could be a way where you and maybe a few people could get together and do something to kind of show the congregation how much they appreciate their pastor. Maybe it might be before the main service starts or right afterwards, or if you're able to incorporate it in the actual service, that would be probably ideal. And of course, this takes a little bit of thought. So, hey, this podcast is being taped right now on the 5th day of October. So you've got a little bit of time here to do this. You could organize something, get a few people together, maybe sign some cards.
Sign some cards, deliver them. Or another idea that was here was put together a video.
There's the tech part of things.
You'd set up, play a video to the surprise of the pastor.
You could get some key people in your church, video them. Today, you pull out your iPhone or your Android phone, and you could video, maybe the leadership team, maybe key deacons, key elders, or key volunteers, and have them say a few words on video. And you could, splice it all together or something, use Movie Maker or something and put it together and show a little 2 or 3 minute video of different people saying, hey, just want to say we appreciate you for all that you do here. And it's showed on the screen. And again, it conveys love. It conveys, just gratitude for your pastor.
And it will also remind everyone in the congregation that it is October is Pastor Appreciation Month.
Yeah, exactly.
Most people probably aren't aware of that.
Yeah, most people don't think about it a whole lot unless you're really get out there and all that stuff. So,
all right. So this last one you have on the list here is a little touchy, right?
Yeah, and it's a little touchy because it kind of goes along. It could be interpreted as what I said earlier about what not to do. Don't give them a leadership book. But and again, I'm going off what in my brain. I've got pastor coaching here, and I know that could be taken wrong because you could say, well, hey, pastor, you're doing a poor job here, so we're going to line you up with coaching. But honestly, for me, I loved the idea of having pastor coaching when I was a senior pastor, because I like to get a different perspective on things. And I see pastoral ministry and leadership in general as you need to grow as a leader. And if you're growing as a leader, your church will grow eventually as well. So this could be taken one of two ways, but it all depends on how you serve it, especially if your pastor has talked about this in the past, because some of this stuff, there's pastoral coaching available out there. Sometimes it's not real. It can be costly. It can be a little expensive. It just depends on who it is. But if you've got an opportunity and your pastor is going to take it the right way, I think that pastoral coaching could be a nice little gift, maybe. Or here's something that kind of goes along with this, and I didn't put this in here on my notes here, but I went to a pastoral retreat. And it was really nice. It was awesome. And so you might substitute what I initially put on here, pastoral coaching,
with a
maybe
pastoral
cross the line off that and put down pastoral retreat.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be in October.
Right.
You can just schedule it, or you could give them a certificate saying, hey, here's so-and-so's pastoral retreat is, take it this year sometime. It's a week long. But I went on one of these in Colorado, and it was awesome. And it was really healthy for me and my family went with my wife and I went. It's one of the first times I think we left Graydon alone. But so anyhow, again, it's just showing love and it's showing appreciation, and it can be a really healthy thing, because as we said at the very beginning of this broadcast, many pastors leave their assignments every single month. Burnout, conflict, all sorts of issues can cause health issues, those kind of things. And by showing gratitude, you're just going to help and encourage your pastor. So that's my thoughts on it anyhow.
All right. So we had the 6 to avoid and the 8 to consider. Actually, 8 with a bonus.
There you go.
So, all right.
So we'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think Pastor Appreciation Month is a good thing? Do you think you could add something to this list? Just send us an email, support@StreamingChurch.tv. Steve and I would love to hear from you, and we'd love to get your pros and cons on this. Maybe you think it's a bad idea. I don't know. But I kind of think these things are kind of good, because life goes by so fast that we don't necessarily take the time out to appreciate people. So I think, it's a good opportunity to set aside some time every year to appreciate somebody. So there you have it.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. So we are done here. Thanks for listening to the Church Solutions Podcast. You can find us on iTunes. Where else can you find us?
Stitcher Radio, your favorite podcast player. Just search for Church Solutions Podcast.
All right. And you can always listen to this podcast. It'll be on YouTube, the audio version. And I think it's under StreamingChurch.tv's channel on YouTube. It's the audio version. And one of these days we're going to do probably a Facebook Live deal. These days we'll do Facebook Live. And but if we can help you, if anything, ministry related, tech related, we certainly would be privileged and honored to do that. So send us an email, support@StreamingChurch.tv. All right. He is Steve Lacy. I am Phil Thompson, and we appreciate you taking some time to be with us today. We will catch you next time on another edition of the Church Solutions Podcast.